Hey, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. Hope things are bright and clear for you. New year. Hard to believe, but we are here, and this is the first show of the new year. I just posted the link in the Facebook group. Let me go ahead and post a link in the comments there, so you guys can join if you want. I hope everybody's doing well and had a happy and safe New Year, because it is 2020 already. Kind of hard to believe, but we are here, New Year, and we can talk about any photography resolutions or anything like that. If you're into making resolutions, some people are, some people aren't. I'm kind of, I don't know, not so much anymore. And I just always try to do things a little different. Hey, there's James. I just tried to chat. Just click the link in the Facebook group, and also you can click on the link. I posted it in the chat on the video. So we should be good. It should be in there. I hope it is there. Looks like it is. Let's find out. I got to open up YouTube and see. See what. There we go. Yep, there we go. Show 298. So hopefully the link is in there. There I am. My smiling face. The link is in there, so you guys can click that and join. Whoa, there we go. Had to restart the computer right before I was supposed to start this thing. Had a glitch and restarted it. Let's see. Hey, James. Hey, there we go. Hey. You're on the messenger. I can't find another one. You can't what?
Is this the right one?
No, this is Facebook Messenger. You got to click the link in the group.
I didn't see it. Hold on. Let me get out of this one.
Okay. Bye. So, I don't want to write the call. So there we go. Hopefully James clicks the right link, and should be good. But yeah, I had to restart the computer right before, and had some glitches. But resolutions. I don't know. I make I try to always do things better, and I guess I make a couple of resolutions, but not as many as I used to back in the day. So, but yeah, we can talk about that. Anybody wants to talk about any photography resolutions? I talked a little bit about it last week, I guess, as far as wanting to be able to actually do more photography this year. Let me post a link in there again. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe we're in 2020 already. Years go by fast, faster and faster. But yeah, we can talk about photography resolutions. And I also wanted to talk about, because we really haven't done this in a while, and I'm maybe we can start a conversation on a camera to recommend for somebody just getting started, who's interested in photography but is not really sure if they will enjoy it or not. Had a conversation with somebody about that, and I think it might be good to talk about if we get a couple other people in here. I mean, there's a lot of choices now, that is for sure. So hopefully this, yeah, it looks like that link should work. Hey, there's James. There you are.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is,
Yep.
I had an upgrade, and like usually I see it in messages, but I don't see messages anymore. I just see the
panel down on this side who's online, but not the
Oh,
yes.
yeah, you should be.
You need to click it. It needs to go straight in. It's
Yeah,
just
you've got to open up. Got to open up the group. You've got a message group. It's me. Well, I don't know. I've got it set up as Dennis, you, me, and Wes, I think, is a group I set up in Facebook Messenger. There's Wes. There's Wes. Hey, Wes.
Hello.
So yeah, James, if you upgraded, yeah, you just got to find the group, because I just post up that chat group in Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and post a link there. So there. So Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
2020. Before we know it, it'll be 2021 again. But here's to good vision in 2020. How about that?
The Roaring 20s.
Yes, the next decade. But yeah, I was just saying, can talk a little bit about any photography related resolutions that any of us have made, kind of for the new year, and then also maybe talk a little bit about thoughts on a beginning camera system for somebody that's wanting to get. I mean, we haven't really talked about that directly in quite a while, I don't think. But maybe something for somebody who is interested in photography, would like to try it. So would like to have more flexibility than they can with just their cell phone camera or a real simple camera. But not necessarily. I mean, do you need to get a DSLR? No, I don't think so anymore.
Depends on what their needs are. I mean, say some people take good enough photographs with a cell phone. Why buy a better camera?
Yeah. Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, it's getting tough to even suggest a camera to someone nowadays, because unless they're willing to take the time to really learn, it's not going to help them any.
Yeah.
Well, I bought myself a new flash, and I spent a few hours trying to figure it out. I still haven't figured it out. So I'm hoping after this, I'll get back on it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll take it back to the store and say, "Can you do it?"
Yeah. I think, in my mind at least, a quote unquote real camera is one where you can change the lenses. I mean, I still kind of go with that as a criteria, because then you have a lot more creativity. You determine what type of, what focal length, that type of thing. So if you can change the lenses out, I think that makes a big difference. And I think it's nice to have some form of manual control too. If anything, just to become familiar with how exposure works.
Yeah. And even that, a lot of times I see, when I'm out walking around, I sort of pay attention to what people who actually have cameras, what they're using. And the majority of the time they still have the kit lens on their camera. It's
Yeah. And there's probably shooting an aperture priority or shutter priority. Yeah.
So it's like, they're not really getting what it's all about, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that's I think that would maybe do we even need that anymore? I'm still old school enough to think that if you want to get into photography for the real creative aspect of it, not just being able to take better pictures than you can with your cell phone, but to actually kind of explore the creative side of seeing things differently, look different perspectives, playing around with exposure and point of view and that type of thing. In my mind, that you still need a camera that can at least change lenses and maybe a wider angle and a more mid to longer range zoom. I mean, but you can definitely get started with the kit lens, but I think if you have the ability to at least switch lenses, that's, in my mind, that's what qualifies as a photography camera, not just a camera that can take pictures. So, but yeah, you're right, Wes. Most people they'll get the DSLR, the kit DSLR, and they'll never switch any lens other than what came with the camera.
Yeah.
So,
what's funny? Some people don't even know the controls of the camera. They just set it and forget it.
Yeah. They put it on P or auto, and that's it.
Yeah. Years ago, I was over at my nephew's house, and he said to me about the camera. And I said, I could take a photograph without using flash of your wife, and it'd come out pretty good. He goes, you can? I said, yeah. So I went like that, took the photos, clear as anything. He said, how'd you do that? And I showed him. I said, do you mean to say I got this $500 camera, or pound, camera, I don't know how to use it? I said, you're right, you don't know how to use it.
Yeah. It's
They don't. They just click.
yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the way it's been for the last 10 years, 5 years, definitely. But I'd say 10 years, ever since the smartphone. Hey, Dennis.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Yeah.
We're having a philosophical discussion on what kind of camera should somebody get if they want to get into photography. And I hold that we should have that it should have interchangeable lenses, at least have the ability, and you should have the ability to do some sort of manual control.
And I think if they're starting fresh, I think they should go with mirrorless, because that's the way it's going. So you might as well start off that way.
Yeah, the format. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Once you decide on what the camera can do, then what format? I told him, I said, you just want an 8x10 large format. I mean, if you're going to start out, you just go big. Yeah.
Are they gonna? Does anyone think they're gonna lose anything by not having that situation where you're not really seeing what you're gonna get before you take the picture, and having a learning experience from that? Getting the settings wrong and then seeing that your picture's messed up, kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know if
I still mess up.
thought about it. Yeah, I mean, the mirrorless allows you to see that, or you could choose to not look at that too in the mirrorless.
Yeah, that's true. They do have the
Viewfinder.
modes where it
And just do the viewfinder and go that way. But I mean, the format size. I mean, the mirrorless is definitely more compact. It's easier to carry around. You may lose a little bit of ultimate creativity because of the form factor. The crop factor, that type of thing, but I think that's still better than just using your cell phone all the time. Now, Joe doesn't have any opinions on anything, so he probably doesn't really know.
I am a pretty quiet guy. I don't.
Yeah. So we're talking about if somebody wants to try photography, get into photography, not and try to explore the creativity side of things, not just take better pictures than they can with their cell phone. What do they need? What would a camera, and say under $1,000, so they're willing to make a little bit of an investment. Just not willing to go. They don't want to go crazy, but they want something that gives them a good shot. If they get serious about it, can carry them a little ways.
It's not going to be much, though.
They hate it, and it's like, this is crap. I don't want to do this anymore. They can, not be out of pocket a bunch of money if they absolutely hate it. So in my mind, you find something that's used. You find a generation or two old, you buy it used.
My suggestion would be similar to what some car reviewers would say. Some car reviewers would say, hey, if you've really got your mind on a particular automobile, rent it. And that's my thing, is if you got your mindset on certain gear, rent it. And then, a lot of these rental companies are getting so desperate now that you can rent the gear, especially from lensrentals.com, Lens Rentals and Lens Pro to Go, United a while back. And when you rent the gear, you can opt to buy it. So what perfect way to get into something without being fully committed and only commit minimal amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Will
they do long-term rentals?
Oh, come on! Heck yeah! I mean,
I've rented lenses a few times, but it's been a few years since I've rented a lens. So I honestly, I don't even know.
And they offer specials.
The more money they get.
I'm sorry.
The more time you rent their camera, the more money they get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, they'll accommodate you and they, especially right now, this time of year, they're offering so many deep discounts. You 1 week, get the next week free. Typically, you can rent for a couple of weeks and get a good idea, and have maybe $100, $150 into it. I'm kind of forgetting what the rentals. Well, depending on what you're renting.
It depends on the camera. Yeah, what equipment you're running. Yeah.
But I think I would rather have, even at $1,000, I think I'd rather, if you're going to rent if you're going to buy $1,000 worth of gear,
Yeah.
you could probably rent that same gear under $100, or right around, or under 150, I would think.
Yeah. And get a couple weeks out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you know.
see if it's any interest at all beyond just a passing. Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
give yourself a shot. I mean, you know, I've suggested to certain people to rent some gear when they're going on a vacation. They wanted to take a particular this and a that and whatever. I mean, even myself would rent gear for different, you know, jobs I wanted to do. So it's just a good solution, you know, for particular situations. Otherwise, look in the used market. I mean, there's
Oh yeah. That's my, if you figure out that you want, you know, you're kind of serious about it, you want to try it, and you want to maybe give it a few months to see if you like it, and take some time, maybe do an online photography class, spend some time kind of on the theory behind it. You can get something used and take good care of it, get it in good shape, take good care of it. And if you don't like it, you might only, you get back 90% of what you put into the thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get a 2-year-old camera, you know, the previous generation, and you buy it for $500-$700 and you sell it for $600. You know,
Oh yeah.
so it's almost like you rent it for 6 months for not that.
Yeah, really. I mean, you're even better off in some ways just
Yeah,
buying it.
yeah.
Well, most of my gear, I've bought a few pieces. As far as photography gear, I've bought some. I'm probably 50-50 at this point.
Yeah.
Some of it I have bought new, but quite a bit of it I bought. Well, my main cameras, I bought all of them from rental companies.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So
I'm thinking mine, the only cameras that I use that I purchased new was the large format. But the lenses I bought used. The mirrorless, we have both Olympus, I bought used. The lenses used. Yeah, everything. The only piece of camera equipment that I'm currently using that I bought new was the 4x5 camera body. Everything else was used to some extent, you know, a year, anywhere from 1 year old to 30 years old, depending on the lens.
it's pretty, you know, and what I liked about buying from the rental companies is the fact that everybody that looks at their cameras is certified. So the whole thing is on the up and up from jump, and you know it's going to be used, of course, but they go over everything before they send it to you. Yeah. And they have some sort of return policy, a certain amount of days that you have to return it, you know, no questions asked, that sort of thing. Yeah. So it's, you know, in my, you know, view, that's a decent way to go. It's that way or the used market. But I'm looking at some pretty nice cameras on Lens Rental right now. Yeah, you know, they're kind of high, but you know, it depends on the camera. You know, some of the cameras.
I think that's the big thing is, do you really need a DSLR? I would say no.
Yeah, not really. Yeah.
Or if you want one, get a used one. Get a 2 or 3 year old used one. You know, like the Nikon, whatever it was, the 3500. Was it kind of like their base crop sensor one?
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably get a 2 year old version of that for $300.
Okay, here's a kit. They have moved on up since I've rented. But they have a kit right now, a 7-day rental, $250, a Canon kit. It's an SLR kit, but just somewhere to start. And they call it their Pro Newborn kit. So you're going to get a 51.2. You're going to get a 100 2.8 macro. You're going to get a 5D Mark III, a 42-inch 5-in-1 reflector, and a 128 gig Extreme Pro 170 megabyte card.
Okay.
It's a decent kit to start. For $250
for how long?
7 days.
For 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably get 2 weeks for maybe,
I mean, that's a lot of kit.
350. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably you know what I'm saying. There's other stuff. I just was looking super quick,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
but you know that's a pretty. Them some damn good lenses. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's not like
Uh-huh.
that's not a BS kit right there, man.
100 2.8. Yeah, I mean that's in and of itself is a $700. You know, that's a $750 lens probably.
Yeah, and that 51.2 is like, what is that, Wes? That's like freaking 16 or 1700 bucks, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
That's not
a-
a beginner lens though. You're gonna have trouble getting focus at 1.2.
Yeah.
Sharp shots at 1.2.
Yeah.
it's not a. That is a big old 52, man. That ain't
Mhm.
like.
A lot of glass on that one.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm sure you
Oh,
can
yeah.
put together a cheaper deal, but that was just their what they. I saw it and I clicked on it just
Yeah,
to give an
yeah.
example, but
Okay,
that's a
that's
lot
good.
of. You know, in a 5D Mark II, dear God, that's not by any means a beginner. You know, none of that is beginner stuff. But
Oh
that's-
no. That's that is to
You're
use-
looking
get
at
full use out of that. You want to be fairly knowledgeable.
yeah, because those two lenses, the two lenses in that camera, dear God, you're looking at least $4,000 or $5,000 worth of gear.
Mhm.
You know, so you know that's way above what you were talking, but still, you know, just to give an example of what.
Yeah. Well, here's yeah. I mean, then you go to places like Fred Miranda, that type of thing, and
Yeah.
find-
There's different ways you can get
Yeah.
that. You know.
But so, would the opinion of this esteemed panel of experts
Yes.
be that somebody that wants to do photography should probably get an interchangeable lens camera? Can we agree on that? Whether they actually change the lenses or not, I don't know, but at
Yeah.
least have the ability to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go along with that, Mark.
Okay, mirrorless or mirror? Well, should we
Yeah.
say crop sensor or full frame? Because mirrorless, you can get mirrorless full frame now.
Yeah.
I'll say mirrorless.
Mirrorless, okay, like a micro 4/3 mirrorless. When you say it, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because that's the way people are going now. So why fall behind? You might as well go forward.
Yeah, you might as well start with whatever's.
Okay, so you can get
whatever's
a
hot. Yeah.
and you can get a generation or two behind if you wanted to buy used and
Yeah.
get
If
something.
they went and had other cameras and they can get it real cheap, then fine, go with them and learn how to compose and stuff like that. But if you start with nothing, go mirrorless.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
starting, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
agree with that for sure.
And then you can, if you really like it, then you can decide down the road if you want to go beyond that, maybe go like a full frame or something like that. You know, upgrade would be from say a 4/3 or a crop sensor mirrorless to a full frame mirrorless, because I think that's the next step. I mean, they're going to become less expensive relatively within a couple of years for sure. Okay, so we got that. We got a mirrorless interchangeable with a kit lens. You could just get a basic kit lens and then maybe the kit on those is what, going to be like a 12 to 40? Would that be kind of the standard?
But don't you have to be careful with kit lens? The aperture changes. Change it.
Yeah. That's the
That might mess them up getting a kit lens.
yeah.
Hey, Wes, do you have any experience with like these, you know, all-in-one point and shoots that actually have decent lenses attached to them? Have you played around with any of those?
Something like the
Yeah, like the Sony RX1 or RX10,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm looking at a RX 100. You know, you could rent an RX 100 right now for $48 for 7 days. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think those are crazy expensive, are they? And it seems like you're getting
They're
some.
like $1,000 new.
Yeah.
The newest model is like
Oh, are
$1,000.
they? Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you could get a
Mhm.
7-day rental for $48.
Yeah.
You know,
It
like I said,
that gives you manual control and
yeah,
all
you're going to
of
get a lot of, you know, that
Yep.
would be a decent, you know,
And was it like a
20.2.
3 times zoom? Is that what it is? 3 or 5 times?
Yeah,
zoom?
three times.
Okay, so yeah, a basic zoom range.
It's like a 24 to 70, basically.
yeah. A nice walk around camera. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a nice vacation camera. You know. Heck
Yeah.
with you. I mean, that's something that one of us would take as a secondary you know, when I don't want to take my full kit camera. That would be, and I mean, I did that. I used the Canon, what was it, PowerShot S90, S95 or whatever for, that's kind of a, not a crop sensor, smaller than a crop sensor. I don't know what the size is. Half the size of a crop sensor, probably. Of a
And it's like
traditional
1 over a 1.7 sensor.
yeah, like that. So,
And I've
but yeah,
got the Panasonic LX100 that's got that same Sony 1-inch sensor that the RX100 has.
okay. So yeah, so they've got a 1-inch sensor. So yeah, I mean, you can do good stuff with that, and
Yeah.
you can do full manual control. So
Mhm.
you can experiment with doing that. Yeah, that might be, and you could buy one of those used well under $500. You could probably get, you know,
Oh,
used RX100 for.
Yeah, they're on like the 4th version now, so the
Yeah.
earlier versions are definitely a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking right now on Flickr at some images coming out of that version 4, and dear God,
Yeah.
I mean, wow,
Good stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I mean they're solid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to blame your equipment and just go type in whatever it is on Flickr and look at the other pictures people are getting with that same equipment,
Yeah.
and you'll soon learn it's not you. It's not your gear. It's you.
Yeah. It's not the equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is always, you know, it's always easy to blame the inanimate object, but yeah.
Oh, come on, it's the damn camera. Give me a break.
Yeah. This piece of junk.
It's a piece
Yeah.
of junk. You know what I'm saying? If my camera could fly like Sim's camera, then boom, I could create work like
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So something like that, like a 1-inch sensor, so that you got the Sony, like the RX. What would the Canon be? Is it the
The
G-
7, G7, yeah.
G7, G6, G7?
Oh, Mark, I'm going to put a link. You have to see this image on Flickr. This is, oh man, it is a long link. See
Okay.
if that works for you. You have to see this image. This is great. And this was captured with that camera. But look at what they did with playing. I think this is chess, or it looks like chess. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look and see. I'm gonna open up a new window and paste it in. and see.
Photographer spin on chess. This is awesome. Awesome.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, let's share this. There we go. That's what you do with those old lenses that nobody wants anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look at all those white lenses.
That's an expensive. Yeah, you got white. You got the Canon versus Nikon there,
Yeah, there's Pat.
or Canon versus Sigma, whatever.
Hey, here's Pat. Hey, Pat.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh no, it's gold. It's gold rings around. Yeah, that's Canon versus Nikon. That is
Nikon.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's an expensive chess game, right?
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, you probably got like $150,000 worth of lenses on the board.
Yeah, that is, what an awesome image, man. That is too cool.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. And that was shot with the RX100 4th generation. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
3 years old at this point, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool.
What an awesome find right there, man. I gotta like that image. That was good.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yep. So there you go. So who needs a big lenses like that? Just make chess pieces out of them. Play.
Hey, look when this was taken, January 10th, 2015. You know, when this image was taken,
Mm-hmm.
in SLRs were still really the thing. That's,
Yeah, they were king. Yeah.
this CyberShot must have just came out.
And it says testing, so testing
Yeah.
some CyberShot. So maybe they just
Maybe that was
came out,
your
yeah.
brand new. Just came out. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, you might be able to find this camera pretty cheap if it's that old. I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah. The version 4. Yeah.
It's already 5 years old.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So something like this you can get for couple $100, probably $200 to $400 used, and take shots like this. Yeah. It's it's kind of cool. Okay, yeah, so interesting. So I think maybe if you can, nice to have an interchangeable lens. Maybe do like a micro four thirds, if not one of these RX 100s or Canon G 5 or 6 or something like that.
So Pat just joined us, and
Yes.
since he's the working pro here, what I'm sure you get the question all the time for people
Yeah.
asking what camera should they buy. What's your answer for that?
$1,000 or less.
I'm not.
Just like new to
Not one.
photography, want to try it
Yeah,
out.
I basically tell them just to get like a, entry level whatever, and just get a couple of prime lenses, and try to like shoot on. I mean, I always try to tell people, you can do like, I guess, aperture priority or something. I always encourage people to, if they can, shoot full manual,
Mhm.
just because I feel like you'll get a quicker feel if you like it. Because I think that's what happens. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to get a nice camera, and then they end up realizing that like they never use it. They spend all this money. It's overwhelming, all that kind of stuff. So it's like if you can kind of actually get a feel for it without spending too much money right away. And I always tell people you're better off buying like, I guess like the 50 1.4 and like a 35 f2 or something like that,
Mhm.
just to like, because those are good lenses. So then you buy a cheap body, and then the lenses you can easily get your money back, and you can keep them if you get a more expensive body, and still get some use out of them. So I mean, I suggest like, I don't know if I necessarily go like quite on the Canon end, like down to like a Rebel, but
Mhm.
something like an 80D or whatever. Especially, I'm all about getting used gear, if I can.
Yeah.
Like my last 2 or 3 bodies I got off Craigslist or Fred Miranda, and all my Sigma lenses, I just buy them used off Fred Miranda because people take such good care of them.
Mhm.
So that's what I always suggest is, to me, it's brand doesn't even matter as much.
Yeah.
All that stuff is kind of caught up, with each other. And then
Mhm.
for me personally, I don't like the small bodies, like the mirrorless stuff. I just don't like the way it feels in my hand. So that's another thing I always tell people is to like use other people's gear, or like go to a nice camera shop and hold them and see how they are in your hand. Because to me, that's actually like a big deal. Is
Yeah.
how
For a
comfortable they are
long
in-
time. Hold it for a long time.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing something and you end up getting pretty good at it, that's the more you're going to be holding that camera.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So because for short periods you can tolerate something, but over long periods, like, man, I need to hold something substantial, baby. Yeah.
Well, especially for me, like too, once you get to the bigger lenses, the big heavier lenses, to have like a full size body with like a grip, or like I don't have like a 1DX or whatever, but one of those
Mhm.
actual pro bodies, to where it really balances out that weight a lot, so it's not so like front heavy. You want them to
Yeah.
swing down on you.
Those are some good points. I'm looking at you could pretty much get that camera that we were talking about, that point and shoot, for like $500 or less. I'm looking at a ton of used prices, and right around $500 is going to be your sweet spot for that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing to me for like a casual person is like, honestly, like an iPhone 11 camera is
Yeah.
going to be good enough for what most people are going to want to do at this point.
Yeah.
So like for the most part, I don't even suggest point and shoots to people. I'm just like, just use your phone.
Yeah.
If you want the experience of using like a bigger
right.
camera and flexibility and learning it and getting stuff you can't get, like the whole fake depth of field is getting better on all these phones, but
Yeah. But
I mean,
it's-
obviously, you're not going to get the same effect as like the 105, or I'm sorry, the 135 millimeter f1.8 I have. You're not going to get that out of a phone.
yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to happen. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, think about it now. Yeah, the smartphones or phones, or the cameras in the phones now are better than pretty much outside of, maybe not pro level, but 6-7 years ago. I mean, yeah, the quality of what you can get with your phone now is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's
I guess that's the whole thing for me. And I mean, that's why if you know someone that has a camera, you can borrow it. That's kind of what I suggest, or not necessarily even borrow it, but like use it for an afternoon. Like go somewhere with them and try it out. Because like I said, I guarantee you, there's all kinds of people that buy like a 5D kit plus another lens, and then like use it for a couple weeks, and then it just sits on their shelf, and then they end up selling it and losing a bunch of money. And realizing that it's just more than they ever actually wanted. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't want to have you don't want to be out a ton of money if you absolutely don't like it, or you can.
yeah, and I mean, and the thing is, if you, again, like if you have a nice camera but you completely have no idea what you're doing, you honestly will probably still get a better photo out of your iPhone because it's going to be doing all the adjustments for you, focusing for you. You're not gonna, it's just automatic. So.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, if you got a very camera that you could do everything with, but you have no idea how to do anything. Yeah, you're better off. Yeah, just taking that iPhone 11 and using that, and you can make calls with it too. So
you can make calls with the phone
with your camera. Yeah,
I don't think that's
technology. Right. Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You can even order some food on there if you want.
Yeah.
You can play games, listen to music.
Yeah. That's
watch
the
a movie.
funny thing about mobiles. It's like, and they make calls too. Like
the last thing that people use their phone for anymore. Actually,
they don't even talk about that in the keynotes anymore when they announce a new phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about different ways you can text, and the emojis are really important now, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
but they never talk about the phone call.
Yeah,
that's just something that it does.
Yeah,
their fast network is so you can download videos faster to watch on your phone, not to make calls or anything.
No,
so pedestrian is that.
Yeah.
The only thing, Mark, is they don't make calls very good, do
they? Sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Dropping out all over the place.
Yeah. You're actually better using the chat feature. Texting works better than calls a lot of times. So.
Heck, man, you got me looking at these stupid cameras now. This guy's got on eBay. He's got his that he's selling. And he even bought a nice little, made it look old school type of leather case. So I've got my old Minolta from the 60s that has that leather case, and you take the whole cap off and it hangs. He's got a similar style case for $255 right now on eBay. Tell me that ain't tempting even for this stupid camera. Like, that's tempting.
Yep. It does.
I hate that I look at these things.
You go down a hole, and there's
you go down these rabbit holes, and you're like, I need this now.
The only way you can escape is by taking wallet out of pocket and using credit card in said wallet.
Oh no, we don't even have to do that because we are on eBay.
That's true. Just click. Yeah.
It is a couple PayPal.
It's literally like 2 clicks. Yeah. PayPal, bang, bang, done. Yeah.
PayPal's the worst thing that ever happened to your wallet. I swear. Other than Amazon, because Amazon has everything in there too.
Yeah. Exactly.
You'd be very irresponsible on Amazon.
Yeah. That was a good discussion. Hopefully, if somebody watches this, they might learn a little bit about it. But yeah, I'd say just don't go crazy. Do something you can have a low investment. Try it before you buy it, if you can, and make sure you're really going to use what you have, what it can do.
And for me personally, again, a huge thing is I actually have people a lot of times on my photo shoots. I don't get so much asking what I want to get into photography. What should I use? The question I get a lot is like why Canon, or you like Canon better than Nikon or Sony, that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, honestly, I don't know. To me, that's such a small thing because it gets down to, in most cases, again, it's just feel more because the image quality on all of them are so good now, and the noise, low. It depends if you want to do more video, more photo. I guess what kind of lenses you want, all that kind of stuff. But
but as far as the base features, they're pretty much the same. I mean, if you go comparable, line, certain point in each line. The difference is, does it have a certain specialty feature that the other one doesn't? And if you've got an investment in the company's lenses, that makes a difference.
Yeah, well, that's certainly
starting out. Yeah, either one.
When people ask me why
what you want and go.
when people ask me like why I chose Canon, it's like, well, because that's the first camera I bought 15 years ago. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
what everything I've had since. Just
And well, in getting to your point, to take it a step farther, that's another argument for mirrorless, is it doesn't even matter anymore, right? Like, I mean, those things are kind of interchangeable these days, aren't they?
yeah, with adapters and whatnot, right?
Mhm.
They can
Yeah.
put Canon lenses on Sony bodies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they make that even for like, the Canon. You can put Sony lenses on with adapter. Usually, you lose a little bit of features or
Yeah, you're gonna, right.
that kind of stuff. But I mean, I have some adapters to put like film lenses on my.
Well, instead
Digital
of
selector.
200 million focus points, you're probably going to be down to like 64.
It is
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
that's a real limiting situation right there. You're like,
I refuse to to press the shutter button unless I have 200 focus points. I'm sorry.
And again,
I'm a focus point snob.
on my 6D, I literally have like what I consider one autofocus point. I never take it off the center one, and that's
Yeah.
it. I just because I don't trust the other ones, and there's only like 12 or whatever anyway. But
Yeah. There you go. You heard it. The guy makes a living using his camera. He uses one focus point.
Uno.
but I don't do sports or like birds or anything like that. Which is that's
I mean, yeah, you're
That's a
doing
different thing.
filming, for the most part,
Oh,
static objects. Yeah.
I was going to say that's because it's best for your needs. Other people have different needs and use
Yeah.
it a different way. That's your
Well, it's
comfort.
like- well, that's like the 7D. A lot of people prefer that over like a 5D because it has all the focus points, or like a 6D, I guess, has all the focus points, and they actually want that crop sensor. Which I would never want that for. I'd much rather have the full frame sensor for what I do.
Mhm.
But it makes sense if you want a little extra reach and all that, and the faster, since it has a smaller sensor, you get like the faster frames per second and bigger
Mhm.
buffer and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
like Wes. Wes would probably take a crop sensor over a full frame for
For the majority of what I do, yeah.
Well, and that's one of the. I think that is getting back to your point. What you said a while ago, Mark, was I think that's the only fine line right now. Like even with mirrorless, is they're going to go crop sensor or full frame. That's kind of because once you start getting glass, you're committed. Because that's what happened with me. I started with crop sensor, buying crop. Once you buy crop sensor lenses, you're done, son. That's where you're at.
I had that decision made for me because my one crop sensor lens was stolen. So then I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. It's the best thing that ever happened to you, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah, robbery. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, theft. It's awesome. Yeah, to
Yeah,
help
the great
you with
equalizer. Yeah.
Now, Dennis, we didn't have these decisions to make back in the day. It was just full frame. That's all you had.
Yeah, full frame was fine. One focus point.
No, the difference then was the film format. How big of a full frame? 35 millimeter or medium format or large format?
Yeah. Well, medium format is always going to be better than full
Yeah.
frame. 35.
Now you look at it in the film world, 35 millimeter is kind of like micro four thirds in digital. Medium format's like full frame 35, and large format is like a medium format would be in digital. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. What do you do with those 110 Instamatics? I mean, where does that fit on? That's like a point and shoot. That's like a point and shoot. That's like the little teeny tiny.
Yeah, those little 110s, when you got your pictures back and you see the size of the negatives, don't bother.
Yeah. I used to do 110s quite a bit as a kid. I mean, they were great.
Yeah.
Just drop them off at the drugstore, drive through a window, drop them off, do your shopping, come back a few hours later and be done. It's great. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot hard. Well, I don't know. It's a lot harder today. There's a lot more choice than there was back in the day, which is.
Well, it was easier back in the day when you had a rangefinder.
Mhm.
You put a wide angle lens on it, just do zone focusing. You don't have to worry about aperture or anything. Just get a picture.
Yep. Well, we've got so many choices now, but yeah, I mean, I think we have some good points all the way around. Now I know Pat posted some pictures to the group, and I'm sure he took those with his iPhone. I'm sure.
I actually took some photos of a car with my iPhone not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
I was up in Prescott, and that I think I told you maybe the 20mm lens stopped or stopped focusing completely.
Oh yeah.
So I just took the rest of the interior photos I had to just do what I had with me. So, and I like tried to polish them up in Photoshop as much as I could, but like, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
a 20mm 1.4 Sigma art lens on a full frame camera versus a iPhone is not quite the same.
There's just
Yeah, the Sigma had no chance.
Yeah.
that's right.
No
So,
chance.
I mean, you can certainly tell the difference between the two. It's like all of a
I
sudden you're
know.
clicking through the
iPhone
photos.
kicks
and
ass. You're like, heck yeah, every time.
it's like,
Do you
oh.
shoot RAW on your iPhone, or are you just using JPEGs?
I just use JPEGs. Yeah, I wasn't like prepared for it, and I was like running out of time anyway. So I'm like, oh crap. I didn't expect that to happen at all. And that's when I came home that
You know
day
what?
and
I've been
typed it
getting
up.
this ridiculous .he.
I see.
Yeah. What the hell? Where did this format come from?
That's the iPhone's compressed image. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't remember that even.
it's a pain in the ass actually.
They
And
must
it
have just
uses a
did
lot
that
less
with the
space, but
update or something, because I don't remember that
You can
even.
turn it
Yeah, it was an option before, and now I think it's turned on by default.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
So is that what, like a compressed JPEG then?
Basically,
Yeah.
Is it for sharing? Like me
Well,
Yeah,
just for taking more
share on
photos.
Instagram.
it allows them to do extra things like the. Sometimes you'll like have a photo and it takes like a little bit of video with it as well.
Yeah.
And it'll pack that video in that file as well, and it does some other things that way too.
And if you have an Apple computer, you can view them easy enough on your computer and everything. It's like native to that, or like an iPad or whatever. But like on a PC, you have to like download extra stuff to be able to even view them.
Okay. Yeah. So you can't view it without extra software, basically. Huh.
Yeah, and like Photoshop won't open them, I don't think, or maybe they will.
Yeah.
I think they just added support for it in Lightroom. I don't know if Photoshop does it yet.
Okay.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, should we jump into the images here? We got a few. Talk about that since it's almost 7 now, and I got ribs cooking in the oven, so dinner is on.
Oh boy,
Yeah, I know.
such
have
a
priorities.
tease.
I like you guys and all, but ribs cooking out.
No doubt, right? Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look. I think, this is the first one from this week. This is the last one from last week. Yeah. Dennis's Steam. And then here's Rui. Looks like he is, we got a video here. So hopefully you guys can hear it. Let's see. Lots of wind. Yeah, okay.
Where did he put this camera?
I wonder if it's like a chest mount GoPro.
Yeah, I think it uses a chest mount.
Oh, okay. Because I'm a little scared.
It's on his head.
Yeah.
It's not quite saddle height.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know. You know what?
Fall. That wouldn't be fun.
This guy sure can ride that damn bike, huh?
Yeah. They're moving along pretty good.
Heck yeah, man. It's these videos are.
He's got, he's set.
I watch his videos on Instagram, and I'm like, that just confirms I'm never doing this. I promise you.
I always think you have to really trust the guy in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they go down, then
You're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the Tour de France and stuff. When all of a
Definitely.
sudden the entire
You don't-
field
you know.
gets wiped out by one guy.
Don't want them to tap the brakes or go down or it's not.
The cameras don't do this justice, right? Because it's not this bad. Because it feels fast, man. I mean, maybe it is, but there's got to be something to it that it's not. Because it feels like.
He's moving along pretty good. I mean,
Do you still
he's
ride
navigating this? I mean, don't fall off the edge. Ah.
Yeah. That's
Danger, Will Robinson.
That's
A bit more drama, though.
Yeah.
yeah. It would be a lot more entertaining for us if he did biff it.
Yeah. Just a small crash. Nothing, no permanent damage. Something you can recover from in a few days.
Yeah, we don't want you to get hurt or nothing, but to have your feelings hurt would really, pump up our entertainment value.
Viral, you got to crash. I mean, and have a title. He rode his mountain bike downhill, and then you won't believe what happened next.
Yeah, what happened? Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. and look, you end up with that view. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean the views over there.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
right
all
in
right.
the ocean. Yeah. Perfect
Pretty
day too.
insane.
Sun's out. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty insane.
Sakurui. That's cool. And very nice. And on the other side of that same body of water, we have Simi. And he's going to ride his bike off the pier. And
That would be a lot more. Yeah.
Hopefully not drop his camera on the way.
yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, this is taken January 1st. So this is was this the first image of 2020? Yep. First sunrise of the new year. Many more to come. All right. Nice.
Not a bad way to do New Year's, man.
Yeah. This was probably like 7 o'clock in the morning or so.
God almighty, it has to be cold next to all that water and everything.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Digitized at 8:12 in the morning. Wow. Yep. So right after, yeah, I think the sunrise is pretty late now. But yeah, it's nice. It's a good way to, he's continuing his trend going into 2020, just like he finished up 19, going out pretty much every week.
Mhm. Seems like he shoots a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Good for him.
And so we've seen this shots from this area a few times, but yeah, he gets a different take on it every time.
Could this possibly be the? Oh no, it's with his Nikon. Okay, I thought maybe it was with his flying deal.
Oh,
though.
the drone.
Yeah, but no, he's it's with the D750. Okay.
Yeah. That's a nice one. F420, F22 for 5 seconds.
Yeah, great job as usual. I like that island out there. and
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, we've seen. I've seen this island in a few shots using different spots along the beach. But yeah, that's. There we go. Well, this is Tampa yesterday.
Yep.
Downtown. Looks like it rained.
Yeah, we got some rain Friday and Saturday, and then it's
Mhm.
cold today.
Max back camera.
Did you use a fisheye?
Good iPhone 11.
Yeah, it's a panorama.
Yeah. See, you can't do this with your Sigma,
No.
lens, bro. There's just no way. This is. Are you kidding me? This kind of quality?
Yeah.
It would be a lot better with the Sigma. It just takes some more work.
Yeah. Not quite one 5 seconds and you're done. Yeah.
You know what?
Right.
Especially outdoors, though. I mean, for something you're just whipping out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, for most people, the
yeah.
phone will do 99% of all the images they ever need to take.
And this is a great image. The colors are decent. They're
Mhm.
really, they really pop out at you.
Yeah.
It's nicely framed. Well, Wes knows how to capture an image. So,
Yeah.
when you get those two things that match, Wes can take an image. He knows how to use his iPhone to get a decent image.
Mhm.
You can print this, man. This is something you can put on your wall and be happy with it.
Good,
Tell you
yeah.
the truth,
Yeah.
Be perfectly happy with this. It's good,
Yeah.
man.
That's
I feel like it gives you a feel of the city itself.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm looking at this, and if I go there, I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is
yeah.
what almost everybody that's not a photographer, quote unquote photographer, wants. They just want something to document where they were.
Yeah.
And to do a decent job of it.
Yeah, you want you want to take images that are maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to make a masterpiece. Maybe you will make a
Yeah,
masterpiece.
you never know.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you could stack 6. How many images do you think you could stack to get a quality? To get some. You guys are the stackers, man. I don't do that sort of thing, but.
Dennis would do at least 1,000, I would think. Right?
Well, Pat's the one that does all
Yeah,
this.
stitches them all together. Yeah,
He stitches like, I don't know, 200 images together.
divide it up and yeah.
I don't usually go quite that crazy. Maybe I did like the gigapixel. It's probably close to that amount, but
See, he's got it. Yeah.
Just for the heck of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
did. Yeah, that image is on YouTube or is on Flickr. The
Yep.
gigapixel one I did.
That one you did, yeah.
The
Ooh, now
Allen
this
system.
one, I like this. It's very nice.
It is, man. I mean, this is exciting.
Framed. I love the road to curve interchange here. Bang. Yeah, nice colors. Got the buildings.
Did you happen to put it on a tripod or stabilize it somehow?
No, this is handheld. This is 2 shots.
Okay.
Okay.
To get it wide enough to get everything I wanted in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do it on the computer. You can't do panoramas in the Lightroom app on mobile yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping that comes because that would be really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're not using the built-in panorama.
No, yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to get more steady shots. Was what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the motion panorama would work at night very well.
Okay.
I think it would be way too noisy. But
This
I haven't
is
tried it.
And honestly, if you zoom in on those buildings, it's pretty impressive. detail.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, when you know what you're, they're doing a damn good. They've got all those different cameras, especially in the one Wes has got. He's got the
Yeah,
3
Three
cameras,
cameras, right? Yeah.
and they're doing. I mean, these engineers are doing some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
With that tiny little sensor, man. I mean, you could. I wonder what that little sensor actually looks like. You'd probably think it was a piece of black pepper.
Yeah.
And it looks like you captured some police action in this one.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great image,
Yeah,
man.
it's very nice for night image. Night shot. Very nice. Yeah.
There's lots of life to it and everything. It's good, man.
Yeah. Colors, the
The
lighting.
one area we can tell like a little bit of difference between you can tell it's like a small sensor and lens and stuff is like in the lens, like the light flares, Like
Yeah.
the shape
Yeah.
of all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Like this.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Right here. Yeah.
But I mean that's expected. I mean they still look really good considering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Night.
Some of that could be helped by being on a tripod and using a lower ISO.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I was wondering if you did, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't bring anything with me. I just brought the phone with me.
Yeah.
Pulled it out of my pocket, snapped 2 pictures,
Bang.
and stitched them together today.
Nice. Yeah. Very good. Best camera's the one you got with you.
Oh, look at this guy.
There's Ernie. Ernie's been gimped.
Yeah, he's been gimped.
Now, is this a real dog?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
I need to see some evidence of a real dog. I don't see a shopping cart.
Yeah.
There's no
Moon. Yeah.
No moon.
Okay. Yeah. This is taken back with. This is old school, Dennis. Look at that. With your
Yeah.
EP3.
Yeah, when he was first brought home.
Yeah.
And this was quite soft. So I softened it even more in GIMP.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just to accentuate the positive.
Yeah, it was a picture I'd written off, and then I thought I'd have a play. See what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's neat. So he's a few weeks, 6 weeks old or something at this point.
Yeah.
Probably?
this is Ernie.
Yeah. So now Ernie's about 5 years old at this point.
Yeah, I think he's 6. Yeah,
He's middle aged now. Yeah.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah. So you just you use a filter and softened up everything around the edges and.
Yeah, and because when I first looked at it, I'd missed the focus on some of it.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's pretty good, but yeah, the eyes are kind of soft. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's a nice.
Yeah, sometimes sharpness is not everything.
Yep.
It's a nice picture anyway. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now this one, Mark. I scanned this on the V800. This is a 4x5,
Okay.
and I had to scan it as 1600 because the file was still 850 megabyte.
Is this Ektar?
No, this was developed in C41. So
Okay.
what the film was, I think it was one of the cheapy out of dates off of eBay.
Okay. All right.
But it had a terrible cast on it, so I was playing with the, trying to make it a bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, it's got a pretty strong blue cast. Is that what I'm getting on that?
Yeah, I made it blue.
Okay.
It was the best I could get it because it had,
All right.
it had a magenta cast all over it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was because it was 16 years out of date, the film, or whether it was the chemicals. So,
Or a little bit of both.
I remember like playing with the front standard on the large format to try and
Mhm.
get a bit more focus in the back.
Yep. So when did you originally take this? When was this originally taken?
I just went through all the ones that I've got packaged up to see if I want to have a look at again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is Hadley Woods, and there's the wood.
Yeah, I had to dumb it down again because even at a TIFF it was 300 meg.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to put it on a
Color, you scan large format color, it just ends up being gigantically huge very quickly.
Yeah, well, even at 1600, if I'd done it at 4000, it would have been like 1.8 gigabyte.
Yeah. So here we go. So this was taken a few years ago.
Yeah, just kind of going back through some older images. I hadn't posted on anything on Instagram in over a month, and I figured I should probably get on that. So I realized I hadn't never really shared this one anywhere.
Okay.
And
now is this taken in Wisconsin?
that's Southern Oregon.
Southern Oregon. Okay.
Just a nice little barn find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously kind of what they were going for, but
yeah.
21,780. Oh wait, 21,780,000.
Yeah.
How much?
21.
Exactly. Exactly.
Off those zeros at the end, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have had the headlights on that shot to kind of like balance out the light and everything.
Yeah, the sunlight.
But when we did this photo shoot, we were doing alongside. They were doing a video shoot, and actually the BBC was out there filming a TV show with the car too, and only one of the headlights were working. So it looks pretty ridiculous to have a $22 million car where only one headlight works. So then I'm like,
got to knock off at least $2 million for that.
Yeah.
You could do that in post.
21,780,000 needs work.
Yeah.
I have done that in post, and I've really amped it up, but it's I was trying to figure out. Damn.
Pat, you could have put the lights on. We know this.
Well, I could have, but
yeah.
GIMP. You could have gimped it, Pat.
You could have gimped it, Pat.
Put a shopping cart in the back.
Yeah, it would have been worth an even $22 million if there would have been a fake moon and a shopping cart upside down in that bad boy.
The moon over here, the shopping cart in the corner.
Yeah.
And this is obviously this is a stitched image. At the time, I didn't even have. Excuse me. I didn't have a wide angle lens, so. I can't think of what is it. 135. Yeah. So like obviously it doesn't like a 135 millimeter lens. So I was just trying to figure out what size that actual image is because it wasn't telling me. And let's see, the full one is 20 times. It's about 200 megapixel, I guess.
Okay.
Just under.
So how many images is it composed of?
87 to 98. That's only 12.
Okay.
Only
no,
12.
I'm sorry.
Dear God.
12 images.
No. It's way more than that. 112.
112. Okay.
But I think a lot of those are, end up being on the edges to get cropped out and stuff because I kind of overdo it. Like I'm sure if I like the original one, there's actually a lot more in the scene. But
So
I'm in 130 miles.
So Pat, you're saying you took 112 pictures, right? Or do you clamp them together?
Yeah, it's like, I just basically almost like on a turret, like one picture, next one, and make sure there's enough overlap and just kind of back and forth over the whole, whatever the scene I want to get is.
Wow.
And then I take all those raw images into Bridge, open camera raw, do like all the raw processing on them, pick like the car image, the primary image, and get that one looking good. And then kind of check around the rest of the image to make, other areas to make sure there's nothing weird going on because if you like really dial the highlights way down, you'll get like weird artifacting sometimes and stuff like that. And then I export all those as JPEG, plug into a program that stitches it for me, and then bring that into Photoshop, open it, retouch it, fix a lot of breaks because like when you're dealing with 135 millimeter and you're just doing it by hand, it's obviously imperfect. So like a lot of times, like that line, that stripe, or the 4 on the hood or stripe across the front, a lot of times there'll be a break in that where it'll just kind of go blurry and be off by, like an inch or two if it were on the car. So then I have to take that and distort it in Photoshop and blend it back in. And I mean, an image like this, like of actual taking it's relatively quick, but then the post-processing is probably like an hour just on the one image.
Wow.
I would guess.
An hour
So
for somebody like us, it would be like 28 days.
Well, the other thing is you end up with like I probably downsized this to the 200 megapixel. The original image is probably like 400 or something like that, plus stuff on the edges. But I always shrink them down a little bit because no one wants to deal with that big of an image. And it's just a pain in the ass, really, and no one's going to use it. And also, you end up getting, like less noise and it's sharper, so you can actually shoot at a higher ISO, knowing that you're going to shrink it to like a quarter of the size when anyone's going to use it.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times I'll bump up the ISO higher than I would normally shoot a single image, because then I can do the stitching quicker without worrying about shake as much,
Oh, okay.
Because if I have to like really so if it's 135 millimeter, I'll try to shoot at like 1/500th. Whereas if I'm shooting a single image, I could go down to like, 1/100th or something and just try to be still and fire off like 10 images, and one of them's going to be sharp, But the problem is if you this whole stitched image, if one of them's really blurry, but it's like a key image, then you're just screwed. The whole thing's lost,
Yeah. So you have to default to making sure that you get.
That's still a hell of a commitment, though.
Oh yeah.
Because you're committing to one image, even still in post. Like you're either going to commit to it in the beginning or in the end, and either way, there's a tremendous amount of work that's going to go into that. Like,
and there's the handful of images that I never actually end up processing. Like I'll shoot a stitched image, and then move like 10 feet, shoot a similar image, and then pick between the two. And I just know it's so much work to do that other image that it's just not worth all that work to have two very similar images.
Do the clients know how hard you have to do this, like how much work goes in, or do they just look at the last picture and go, that's nice?
Well, I think they know. I mean, like they flew me out to Oregon to shoot this car, knowing that it's going to sell for like $20 million or whatever. So I think they understand that they don't want to just have, any random person. And like the nice thing is that this company, the guy who's like I don't know what his title is, but he kind of organizes a lot of the photo shoots and kind of chooses what goes in the catalog, that sort of stuff. He's actually a really good photographer himself.
Okay.
So like he can recognize, good work when he sees it, or that kind of
That
stuff.
probably makes your job a little easier then, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like, when I order a steak, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get a prime steak. I'm willing to pay good money for it. I don't necessarily need to know that how it was particularly grass fed, what damn pasture and all this other crap. Just give me a good damn steak. That's it. I mean, I'm sure the cats know that they just like your work. I mean, they don't need to know how the sauce. They don't really even.
What's interesting, I mean, like the way you take this image, and you don't know if it's going to work ultimately till you get back.
No.
So by the time you figure out if it's going to work or not, the car's gone. Everything. So you're like, it worked, or damn.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. Yeah, because he's committing an awful lot to that. Either way. Yeah. So if he decides to go just shooting 10 round, and that's kind of more my route, is I'm committing right now at the shoot to this. And he's committing to it as well, but just in a different way.
But this is where experience comes in. Like, Pat, you've got a lot of experience, so you can picture this ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know exactly what you want.
And I mean, it's really a little bit of like when you stitch it like that, it almost doesn't matter what focal length you're using to an extent with a longer lens, because you're almost getting your view. That probably works out to like a 35 millimeter equivalent. In terms of like perspective. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little wider than that actually, but But yeah, it's more like I look at the image, you know, with my eyes, or look at the scene and say like, okay, this will be a good picture, and then I, you know, do
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do always kind of do overlap, or you know, make sure that I have some kind of redundancy, because obviously, last thing I want to do is like I flew out there for 2 days to shoot this car. My flight was delayed, so I missed the entire first day, and so we shot this car all one morning. But like I delivered, I guess, gave them 90 photos, which is like again super
That's
overkill.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But I knew it was going to be. I mean, like I said, it set a record for a British car at the time, and it was like a huge deal. It hadn't been on the market in like 30 or 40 years or something. So
Yeah.
it was, you know, I knew it was going to be the cover of the catalog. I knew it was going to be on all their marketing, that kind of stuff. So with those cars, you kind of have to go over the top, you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever messed up?
What's that?
Have you ever messed up, like flown to a location, taken the pictures, and then got home and realised something went wrong?
No, not quite. I've had cards. I had like one card fail on me. I realized like I'll get like won't get a passenger profile image, but I'll have like 5 drivers profile, that kind of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And then one time I flew out to California, San Francisco, and then drove up to Napa Valley, Sonoma, and shot a car all day long. And then I got back to my hotel in San Francisco, and I couldn't find my memory card. One of them, like the key one, was missing. And I like actually drove all the way back up there and like searched all around where we were, all over the ground for like hours. Dug around some garbage, which I knew I threw some stuff out because I knew I had a card in my pocket at one point. I thought maybe I did at that point, and all this stuff. And then I just ended up like, well, I'm pretty sure it's in the back of the owner's rental car, because I was in the back. We went to a different location, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go and hope for the best. And while I was at the airport, he called me because I like texted him at like 1 a.m. that night saying, I'm so sorry to text you this late, but I lost this. Can you look for it and all this stuff? And then he said, yeah, I found it. And he overnighted it to me in Phoenix, and it worked out. But that was by far the most panic, because that was like the people traveled up there to go to this vineyard to specifically shoot the car at a vineyard. And they like made a little vacation out of it. And the car was trailered up from like San Jose or something. And there was like a car handler that was like helping me all day long in addition to the owner and all this stuff. And
Oh,
so it was a
man.
little panicky.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I've never, as far as I know, I've never had any of the cars that I've shot reshot, you know, by someone else.
Mhm.
I've done that for other people. Like I just went out to Oklahoma for this last auction and reshot 7 cars that someone else shot, that they just weren't happy with the quality.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
so stuff like that.
Do they still get paid for the other people that got cancelled?
Yeah, they still do. And in fact, I don't think that guy probably even knew that any of that happened until the catalog came out or the press release. And it was like, wait, these aren't my photos, which has to be a bad feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine how many he's boasting to all his friends saying these cars going to be on the catalogue, and then it doesn't.
Yeah, and they spent a full day shooting him and stuff. And he was like a local guy, and I guess they've used him a few times. But then the guy who I dealt with in Oklahoma was like, I'm just going to tell him from now on to just send you because I don't want to go through this again. So I'm like, ooh, it's a bummer for that dude, because
Yeah.
I know if that were me and I lost out on that would.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Good
guess
for
it
you,
would
bad
be
for
good.
him, and you kind of feel his pain now, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it could happen to me, you know.
Yeah.
That's like, I know that like for these big auction companies, you know, for me shooting the cover cars means that someone else that used to shoot them isn't anymore. And I know that I could easily be, you know, that person that isn't shooting them anymore. So
Yep.
that's what kind of rough about it, you know.
Yeah.
It could also be that you have a certain style that they want, and that's why they use you.
Yeah. But it also becomes a point where, you know, they start worrying about cost of stuff. So the difference between flying me out to LA to shoot a car, you know, versus just having a guy drive half an hour and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm going to charge him more because I'm traveling, plus the expenses of traveling.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they can get it for like a quarter of the price and they're like 90% is happy with it.
Okay. So here we go. So that car was 21 million. And then this was the most expensive car ever sold at auction. More than twice as much. 48 million.
Who on earth would pay that kind of money?
That guy.
That guy.
Billionaires.
Yeah, people with billions.
The guy that did.
Yeah.
the guy
Drive it.
the guy who sold it was one of the founders of Microsoft. And he actually raced it a lot. You know, they do a lot of vintage racing events all across the country.
Mhm.
And he put a lot of miles on this car.
Wow.
Not road miles, but
Yeah.
track stuff.
Oh,
And the,
yeah.
the crazy thing about this car is like, so if you crash this car into like a barricade or something and scuff up the front of it, it's probably been wrecked like 5 other times racing anyway. So it's actually not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You just build a new fender, repaint it, and no one really cares.
Yeah.
Whereas like a brand new Ferrari, like a LaFerrari, the like $4 million car, if you crash that, it like loses almost all of its value immediately.
Huh.
So you're almost better off driving these old ones than the new ones.
Because the value is in the pedigree or where it came from. Right?
Yeah, the history and I mean, they don't. If it's entirely original and all that kind of stuff, it probably helps a little, but people don't care as much about that
Yeah.
because like I said, and this car was rebodied in 1964 anyway, so it's just kind of part of these old race cars.
It's part of the history. Yeah.
Yeah.
$48 million. God
So
almighty.
what cost $1 million in that car? Like, does the frame cost $1 million? Does the tires cost $1 million? I don't see that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's like
really
you
just
said.
the history and
It's
the
historical.
and like
Yeah.
and to be able to say, it's like if you're a serious top tier car collector, you have to have a 250 GTO. So
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you pay for it because to whoever bought this, it's like buying a like a new Ferrari at the dealership or whatever. It's like the equivalent of buying like a $400,000 car to that person. I mean, maybe not to that level. I mean, because it is.
It'd be like me
expensive, but-
buying a Ferrari, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big
it's not
deal.
going to hurt there. And the thing is, this guy will
Yeah.
be able to sell it, down the road for as much or more as he paid for it. Like, I want to say the guy who sold this, like I said, the Microsoft guy, I think he paid like $7 million. So
Wow.
he did all right.
Yeah.
he drove it for like 20 years racing and all this stuff, and then just sold it and made $40 million. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, he definitely got his money worth, and he got experience worth out of it too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he'd probably be like, the money's great, but I got to drive this car for 20 years. I got to race it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is one of who knows how many cars he has. This is the guy who he drove to the track to shoot this in a LaFerrari Aperta, which is like the convertible version of the LaFerrari. It's like a $5 million car, and he drove it like 3 hours each way to get there. So
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a different universe. Yeah,
What
for
a
sure.
life, huh?
Yeah.
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 I prefer the close up when it was close up to it. I prefer that when you see the car.
yeah,
Oh,
I just like that rolling one because it kind of shows the speed with the road.
Yeah.
Because you can see the car more.
Yeah, I mean, there's another car. I think I gave him like 110 pictures of this car.
Yeah.
I just like, and what I like with this one is that, like, the camera's so close to the pavement, you see so much of it that it looks like it's going like,
Oh yeah,
100 miles per
definitely.
hour or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah. It's going 15 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like 40 or something. This is hanging out the side of a minivan,
Yeah.
laying on my stomach with the camera out the
Yep.
minivan door.
Yeah. Beautiful car. Beautiful picture. The red with all the green of the trees. Yeah. It's just, the car just looks fantastic. And then this one, oh, see, this is like a starter car. Only 8 to 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is a bunch of images to get the reflection just right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is well done, man. Again. Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is actually a kind of a tighter crop. The full crop shows like outside of the garage quite a lot more and more of the water. But this is like the coolest location I've ever shot in my opinion. Like, I just loved it.
Where was it? Looks like Northwest somewhere, right?
It's actually Santa Barbara.
Wow. Okay.
Pat, did you suggest the cropping, or did they turn around and say to you, "Can you crop it a bit?"
I usually leave a little extra because of printing and whatnot,
Yeah.
like depending on how they want to use it, they might want to like lay text on one side where you barely see the image. But if I like have an image where I have a big version, but I really like a certain crop, I'll send them both.
Right.
I'll do like, whatever dash bowl and then one crop and then,
Yeah.
how I like it kind of thing.
Huh. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. The reflection. So how many individual images were stitched for this? Do you have a sense?
I don't. Usually it's like 20 to 40.
Okay. All right.
So nothing too crazy.
Yeah. That's okay. 140 horsepower, 3 Weber carbs, 23rd of 25. Oh, okay. So this is why it's competed in the Mille Miglia a couple years. Yep.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is. And then if they're like owned by famous racers or driven at races
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, it's like seriously, a huge portion of it is just history.
Yeah. Like the watch that Paul Newman wore, that type of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Rolex watch,
Or the watch that Joe D wore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Same watch.
valuable.
Yeah.
Very.
$20 for $20 million. Yeah.
The problem is that always, whatever I own or wear, just drops the value. So I try to keep it quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. The red is. Just got a thing for red cars here today.
Oh, I love red. God, it's funny too because this is badass supercar. But
Yeah.
I mean, when I see these in person, I'm not quite. Some cars I'm just not quite as impressed as I am when the photo's done right. I'm like, wow. And then when you see them, I'm kind of
Yeah.
This is one of those cars. Like,
Yeah.
this is a great image of this car.
Yeah. And the location for this is great too. I mean, I just love the a little bit of red. This thing is great. The fire.
And this was like, I would have loved to take this and shot it somewhere else, honestly, and like not super bright daylight. But this car kind of worked, being the more modern design and everything like that.
Yeah.
But this was literally like at a Toyota dealership in like Glendale or something. I can't remember where it was now.
I was gonna say
They
that
were like,
that had to be Phoenix. I can tell by the fire signs right there.
yeah, and it was like, hey, you can shoot it today, and it was like, we'll pull it around the side of the dealership. We don't want to take it off the property because the driver didn't want to drive it and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
because this is kind of a funny car, it's basically a Toyota.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
Lexus.
Yep.
But like, you'll find one of these cars in like serious collectors, like the guy who actually had that last Ferrari. He has like another $100 million worth of cars, and he has one of these in his garage too. He had a McLaren F1 prototype, all this crazy stuff in his garage, but he has an LFA also.
This is his daily driver.
That's what I heard about the LFA. Like as soon as they came out, before they even came out, they were highly desired. Like
Yeah.
it was just this. I don't know. There's this weird thing for these Lexus, man. These LFAs.
It's at the top of my list. Have you ever heard one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like one of the
Amazing
best
sounding
selling
car. Yeah.
The exhaust was like literally tuned by Yamaha.
Yeah.
They put it like in a sound studio and tuned it like with the pipes and everything to.
Well, you remember the Ford SHO from back in the day? They had the Yamaha V6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Toyota's done stuff with Yamaha for a long time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is like, so that's the standard version. They made a Nürburgring package, but the Nürburgring package is a little more rare. But those go for like just under $1 million. So even though it's a Toyota, I think it's like they go for like 500,000-700,000, something like that.
Jeez. Man. Yeah. I drive it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, this is when you're in Germany. Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't like a spectacular image or anything, but the one thing I like about it is I think the like lens distortion
Mhm.
actually makes the car look like it's like going faster than it is.
Yeah.
Like it's almost stretching the car, as it's taking off kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like it's got the Doppler effect going on.
Yeah.
We're about ready to break the space-time continuum here. Just hang on.
Yeah.
And so I kind of included it because it's sort of the opposite of that Ferrari image.
Yep.
It's a rolling shot that's real close with a wide angle. So you still get like a sense of speed with it, even though, you're right up against the car without showing much of the road or background. But
Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely get the sense that this car is moving very fast. Yeah.
And he actually was probably driving pretty quick because he drove pretty fast the whole time.
Yeah, that's a neat.
Was he the owner or was he a special driver?
He was. So this was actually taken for a magazine article, and he's like the shop manager or like general manager for the company. So
Rough. Yeah.
he's like, drives these every day kind of thing.
Okay. Rough
So
job.
he took me out on a ride and everything like that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty fun.
Yeah. That's a neat. Yeah.
Like the nicest people in the world at Roof. It's crazy.
There we go. New year, new dawn. Taking January 1st. Was this the first image of the year for him? I don't know.
Yeah.
How does he take so many images in one morning?
Wow. I mean,
130 seconds. So he's got to have time to drink his coffee,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out to these spots so many times, so many different seasons. So he probably just,
Yeah.
he knows to a certain extent what he wants to do, and but he's out all the time. I mean, it's
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's, and you can tell. I mean, he's,
Mhm.
between, him doing this and Pat doing the cars, man, it's pretty cool to work with Pat, because boy, Pat, I mean, he's got a system, man. He knows what he's doing.
Mhm. Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's amazing images. Thank you for sharing. That is awesome. A great start. So this is what, show 298, right? Yeah, we got show 300 in 2 weeks, right? Yeah.
Wow.
So the 19th, January 19th.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Wes's images, man, with that iPhone. Those are quite impressive, man.
Yeah.
Do you leave your
Those
images
images
up
are.
or you take them down?
What's that?
Do you leave your pictures, your images on Flickr, or do you take them down afterwards?
I almost always leave them up unless there's a reason. Like sometimes I'll share stuff very briefly that I'm maybe not supposed to yet or like at all. So I'll put them up and take them down, after the photo share. But everything else I leave up. And I should share more because, like I said, I have like 110 pictures of that Ferrari, 90 of that. I have literally thousands and thousands of pictures that no one's ever seen, even because they're the images that don't get used in the catalog or on their website, and so they just kind of.
Yep. Yeah, they kind of fall into the big dustbin of history.
Yeah, and if there's two photo shoots I've done that are like, well, one of them is my favorite photo shoot I've ever done, which I shared on here before, like through the share screen. But like that one, I actually am not allowed to share, even though it's like my favorite photo shoot I've ever done. The car sold for $44 million.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it works in photography, right? I did a little mini shoot yesterday, and I shot 50 some images, literally used one. You know what I'm saying? That's and then you wait like whether it be a few months or a few years, and you're like, oh, this one's cool too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's like with that Jaguar. I hadn't looked at those images in a while, and I knew I'd shared a handful, and probably like a dozen. I'm like, how did this was a pretty cool one. Why didn't I share this one? So I actually went through and kind of touched it up a little bit, brought the blues out more and that kind of stuff. Almost did like a
you can do for all the if you want to do more Instagram stuff. I mean, you've got plenty of material. It's just a matter of going back through and
I have like endless material for Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you have color code or something so your colors match the car exactly?
Sometimes I actually take photos with my phone if it's a weird color, like multiple angles, and like put my hand next to it or like a watch or a piece of paper, almost to do like the I do have gray cards also, but I'll sometimes do that on weird colors because I will go to edit and it's like I don't know if this blue is quite right or this green or whatever, And so I try to get it close. Most time it doesn't matter that much, but like I've been working at McLaren dealership, and their whole thing is they have like endless paint options. And so they'll have like 20 different oranges, and they want to be able to distinguish between the, 3 different oranges or something. So with those, I've been trying to be more careful about that. But
gray cards are tricky too, though. You have to make sure that color palette deal can help quite a bit.
Yeah, I looked at those too. I probably should just get a good one of those, and when I need to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I mean, you are photographing cars with unique colors, so
Yeah.
you want to make sure you get it pretty close.
And interiors and stuff too, like the tans, like to make sure I don't make the tan like too orangey or that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody uses gray cards, get a decent size one, man. I can just you can get the pocket ones, and all these other. There's a million of them, but man, I've used and they're by the time you're ready to use a gray card, God bless you, really need it, and it helps to have a bigger one because the light can change, man. Your gray card might not be right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's so all those things matter too. So I've just learned to shoot something that I think is right. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not right, I'm gonna shoot it particularly. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a particular color that I don't think is right, this is my take on it. Because I run into this all the time with weird lipsticks, man. Weird lipsticks will throw my crap all off. So I'll take an image, literally just zoomed in and focused on that color. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll get that color right in post, the way I remember it. Because the gray cards can be tricky as well.
Yeah. That way you get the reference. You know what it was, so you can refer to it. Well, awesome show, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
I gotta get out of here. We'll see you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. And I gotta go too. The ribs are calling me.
Those ribs, Mark.
Yes. Getting hungry. I haven't eaten near enough today, so I'm gonna make up for it here. Good one, guys. So I think we're good for the next few weeks. Not going to be going anywhere on Sunday. So, anybody has any neat ideas for Show 300, let me know. I'll think about it this week. But otherwise, just show up and do what we do. So, appreciate it. Thank you as always, Pat, Dennis, James, Wes, and Joe, now departed. Appreciate it.
Jimmy, I'll give you a call on Skype in a week. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. I tried calling you this last week, but I couldn't get through. So I just thought one day we'd connect.
Yeah, we will.
All right, guys. Take care. See you next week.
Bye now.
Bye.